And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. And today is Tip Thursday. Tip Tuesday. Lord, my brain is like, I can't seem to get it focused these days. What's going on? Tip Tuesday. Today is Tip Tuesday, y'all. And we're going to be talking about photography tips later in the show. Later in our community gathering, we'll be talking about how to take pictures. How about this? Let me just show you what I'm going to talk about. How to capture beautiful shots of plants and animals. That's what we're going to be talking about later on in the closing of our show today. So there we go. How to capture beautiful shots of plants and animals. That's what we'll be talking about. So if you want to learn how to do that, stick around. We'll be doing that. However, we are going to obviously talk politics and all the other stuff that we do in the beginning of the community connection. How about that? Let's say hello to some folks. Let me just pop this off the screen. And there we go. Chris is the first person in the building. Chris Baylor is the first person in the building. What's up, Chris? It's so good to see that you are the first person in the building. I'm just going to turn my mic down just a little bit in my ears, just to kind of balance this all out. There we go. And I see Brian is in the building. Brian, we had a good time last night, didn't we all? Omar, good morning. Good morning. Hannah's in the building. And Rashawn's in the building. Daya is in the building. She must be on her break because she's a busy woman. Let's see who else is in the building. Kimmy Kim is in the building. Yes, Kimmy Kim. Trish is in the building all the way from the West Coast. Charlene's in the building. You know, I didn't do my promo today. I usually do a promo out and send that on Instagram. I didn't do it today. Well, we'll see who comes. We'll see who knows what time we meet. Okay, and yeah, Omar, you missed a treat last night, and it was incredible. It was incredible, and we're going to talk about that for sure. Let me just say hello to some more folks. I think everybody's in the building. Omar says, I'm having conversations everywhere. First of all, can we say one? We said this in the beginning about Kamala taking over being the candidate for the presidency, and how Black women are the ones that save America every time. So, you know, Black women, and I know now. I know we got white folks in the building. Don't get upset with me, because we're all in this together. But it was amazing this week. Two things happened this week. One was Sunday evening when 44,000 Black women were on Zoom rallying behind Kamala Harris. Can I say that number again? First of all, I didn't know Zoom could even have the capabilities of doing such a thing. 44,000 Black women. Some men were in there. But mostly it was all about the 44 Black women and their allies. And not only did they have an amazing night of people sharing about Kamala, their experiences with Kamala, what she's done for them, what she's done for California, what she's done in the Senate, what she's done as VP. And those women raised $1.5 million in I think it was 2 hours, or maybe it was 3 hours. I think it was 3 hours. It was 3 hours. And, and I read I not only I listened to the interviews of both of the women that were, like, in what's called the nucleus of this movement, and I did not know this existed. I had no idea that ever since Kamala ran for president against Biden, remember those days? The Black women came together, created an organization where they would meet I think it says every Sunday, to encourage her, to build her up, and to strengthen her, and also to strategize. People like Joy Reid, people like all the leading women across the country from different backgrounds, different trades, just an amazing group of Black women. And you had to be invited into this group. It wasn't like you just showed up and you were a part of this group, because they felt they had to protect the group to protect Kamala. Then as she got and they used their leverage to also be one of the voices to get Kamala on the ticket for the vice presidency. It's a remarkable story. It's a remarkable story. And then they've been doing this for years. Years. They've been holding Kamala up for years. It's an incredible story. But they decided, I think it was Star Jones, who used to be, I think, on The View. She's an amazing organizer. And a bunch of the other organizers got together and said, you know what, why don't we just open this up? Once they had I'm not sure, once they felt like Biden was going to maybe not be running as the head of the ticket, they began to start working. They began to start working and talking to people, getting on the phones, creating and sharing and doing all kinds of stuff in the back scene. They were also one of the ladies, she said they were in on the call when Biden made his decision. The power of organization, the power when people come together with a purpose, with their energy, their knowledge, their wisdom, their networks. Anyway, those women came together on Sunday evening, I mean like that, and raised $1.5 million. And then by the end of the day yesterday, it had gone up to $2 million. I think it was like noon yesterday, the residual from the event. Well, you know that the women couldn't just do that by themselves, because Black men said, thanks to Roland Martin and a bunch of the gentlemen, Bakari, and it's a whole bunch of organizers, put their heads together and said, wait a minute, if the women could do this, maybe we can do it. And man, they send out the email, and all of us, anyone that was connected to Roland Martin show or any of the fraternities or any of the, frat brothers and all the other stuff that were people out there and leaders and thought leaders, all took to their communities. We all took to our communities. I think you probably saw. I went through my phone list and just started sending it out. Put it on my Instagram, put it on my Facebook, put it on my Nextdoor, I put it on my LinkedIn. We had 35,000 Black men at the peak of the hour last night raising money for Kamala Harris. And when it was done at 12 o'clock, we all contribute and raised $1.3 million. That's powerful, y'all. That's powerful. Anyway, what says you? Brian says, last night win with Black men, we maxed out StreamYard over 20,000. Yes, 35,000 people. I need a drink. Sorry. Oh, Hannah, isn't it right? Extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. I don't know what's going on with YouTube today. The number went from 4 to 9 to 19 to now 5. Are you people in here? Am I on live? Can you guys hear me? I think I'm here. I think you can see me. The numbers is shifting all over the place here. Let's see who's in the Instagram world. If you're on Instagram, come on over to YouTube. That's where we live and thrive at Touch Base Daily. Okay, here we go. And yeah, Brian, if you want to come on, you're more than welcome to come on. Let me send you an invite, sir. And tell me how you felt about last night, because it was absolutely amazing. It was brilliant. And here we go. I'm going to send out to Mr. B. Mr. B, sending that out to you, Mr. B, if you want to come on and share your thoughts. But it was beautiful. And people were sharing and putting their thoughts out there. And man, and it made Kamala's ticket to be an amazing opportunity. I mean, she broke records. She broke records. No one in 48 hours, Kamala Harris raised more than $100 million. In 48 hours, $100 million plus dollars. I heard what the women said. Some of them were in tears. Yeah. Man, it is, to me, it's a new day. It's a new day in this election. I am so excited about this election. I have not seen so many people so energized in just 24 hours. 24 hours. It was amazing. Mr. B is coming on. I'm going to bring Mr. B. Mr. B.
Man.
So you were not only, like, I was on Roland's page, I was on the actual StreamYard, and I was also listening to you briefly on your, what do you call it? The chat. What do you call it? What's it called?
The Clubhouse.
House.
Yeah.
Man.
I tell you, I sorry, you catch me. I'm doing my nature walks. For myself.
Yeah.
Last night and Sunday night when the women came together, I feel like that there's so many narratives that have been put to rest, in my opinion. The narrative that, yeah, and I know the African American diaspora and community is not a monolith, but there are those false narratives that we all can't get along, that you know, they're like women are always infighting, or black men are ain't nothing, and blah blah blah. Like, no, like narratives of why can't we get together and organize like they did in the civil rights movement? I mean, and the bus boycott. Guess what? Look over the past maybe past 15 years, starting with Barack Obama and how everybody coalesced. Look at the last two nights when the sisters came together, and I acknowledge that there will be some that drink the Kool-Aid from the orange side. Now is not the time to put our energy trying to engage with those that ain't gonna get it. What I experienced last night, I was up well past my bedtime on a school night. I was almost brought to tears.
Especially when Bakari was speaking, I was like, "Oh my!" I think, "Where's the tissues? Where's the tissues?"
If y'all, man, and I think Roland is gonna show, or I think, well, it's on his YouTube. I think it's saved so people can go back and watch it.
Yes, it was on. Yeah, you can go back to Roland's page.
For me personally, because my son, when Xavier came in to my office and it was like, "Dad, what are you doing?" Because it cut into our dad time, and I've been, I try to shield all my kids as much as I can, away from this. But when I explained to him what's going on, and he went upstairs and came back and was like, "Well, Dad, can I give her $2?" And I was like, "Man, that hit me." And I was like, "All right, yeah, son, you can do that. I still ain't replacing your phone," because he broke his new cell phone. He never had a cell phone. So I'm sorry, I got to. Oh man, but it's sitting right there on my desk. If I show you, I'm like, how the hell do you get a hole in a screen on a cell phone? But man, last night was it was impactful, and I cannot express enough to those that still don't get it. This, oftentimes we hear this election is the most important election.
I know you don't want to see,
of our lives, and I feel like we should adjust that. Whatever the election is, yeah, it's the most important election until the next one, because this one, if it goes the other way, and I'm really not trying to. This is not hyperbole. If anyone has even remotely read any Cliff Note version of Project 2025, I've had the fortune or misfortune of reading the entire document front to back, and I'm a student of history. That does not fare well for people of color. It does not fare well for women. And it does not fare well, which doesn't get enough airtime, in my opinion. It does not fare well for our non-melanated brothers and sisters of a lower socioeconomic demographic. Just because you're white doesn't mean you're protected in Project 2025. If you are,
exactly, you're not protected.
So, and I know that's venturing away, so I'll bring it back to the event last night specifically. I donated on Monday or Sunday. Donated again last night. I took my son's $2 and I went in and I sent his, $2 from my account. And for me as a man, hearing, and I shared this as it wrapped, and then the clubhouse room that I was a part of, they kept going on, and I was like, well, here's my parting words, and this is what I shared from hearing Bakari, and like anybody who was able to watch or go back and watch, when he was in an airport after coming off CNN, and his share was not scripted. He was real. Talked about why it is time for Black men to step up. So much has been done in our community before we were here. Black women, you could go back to slavery, go back, throughout history. The women's suffrage movement, when women were fighting, to get the right to vote. Black women stood side by side with white women to get the right to vote. But guess what? When it happened, white women got the right to vote. Black women had to wait. So time and time and time again, Black women have been the super heroes. Bakari Sellers said when he almost lost his wife to childbirth, and I think just the emotion and everything hit him. And then I'm Khalil, he's one of the founders of Win with Black Men, at the end in the closing, and he shared, and he just said this briefly, and it just hit me. And he looks like a young guy. Well, yeah, I guess as we get older, we feel like, yeah, I'm still young, but
I'm gonna show it.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Let me see if I can get it up here. And
during my darkest moment, when I almost lost my daughter, when I had to protect my life, when I had to fight for a Black woman in the hospital. And so now it's my turn. And I really don't care what you all say about there's another Black man crying or this or that and the third. Because every day I'm working damn hard to make sure that tomorrow's better than yesterday. And so donate, stand up to me, because if we do not change the country we're living in, our daughters, our sons are going to have hell to pay. This is an amazing moment for our country. Let's protect Kamala. Let's be with her like she was there for us. And at the end of the day, we're going to disagree along this road.
Yes.
We're going to disagree about a lot. But let's put all that petty bickering aside. Let's just stop with all the petty BS. Let's stop with all the silos. Let's stop with this organization versus that organization, or this city versus that city. And let's stand up and be the Black men that changed this country. We built this country. We built our communities. And now it's time for us to stand up again. And so I'm rocking with Kamala. I love all of you all. I'm glad to have this space to share. I want to say a special thank you to the Big Seven. I want to say a special thank you to Rick Wade and Steve Benjamin. A special thank you to Don Lemon. All of these brothers who are on here from South Carolina, Jamie Devine, Aaron Bishop, Antoine C.
So there you have it, guys. Especially for the ladies that weren't there, and the guys that missed it. It was so powerful, and so many people they came on and continued to debunk all of the lies that have been spread about her, about how she locked up all these people in California, and what and she did this and she does that, and she's, it was amazing to see the outpouring of information and bringing out the facts, and how there was like one program that she created, because there were many people of color being, arrested for drug possession, because that's the law. So you have to be arrested. And she, instead of putting them in jail, she created this like co-op program so that they can not go to jail, and that they could learn, get their education, and also help them with their, getting ready for work and building their career. So it was deep. It was a good day, a good night. And again, Bakari was just one, but there were the governors from all over the country Westmore was there, and there were people just chiming in, one person after another, all through the night. And it was just great. And it just shows you that when we put our minds together as a community and as people, and this is not just I'm not saying just to the Black folks in the community, but if we are going to win this thing, it's going to have to be all of us working to make this happen. And what I can see, there's a young people that are energized now. There were so many young people excited about what happened last night, and on Sunday night. There's daughters that are excited now because they saw their moms looking at this amazing pouring out with 40. I mean, could you imagine you being just like Brian saying, his son was like, "Can I give $2, Dad? Can I give $2?" I mean, we are the examples.
Where will you be? I saw something, I can't remember, last night, in a comment that was made. This is this period, more broadly, from 2008 until now. Think about this part, or excuse me, this chapter is going to be a part of an AP 101 American history 30, 40 years from now. And any of us who are so blessed to live to that, what is going to be your response when your grandchild or a child in your life at that point, hey, pop, hey, grandpa, hey, auntie, I was reading about, like, what side of history are you going to be on, and tell them? Are you going to lie? Like I feel like a lot of the elder white people are doing now, regarding, Jim Crow and the civil rights movement, who were on the wrong side of history. Like, oh, well, so yeah, that's one thing. I don't know. I that hit me with Bakari, Khalil, and then when Xavier, because I'm explaining it to him, like I always say, making it plain. And when I've explained to him the shift that's happened, and I said, that's the current vice president, but she's going to be our future president if we can help her. And you want to know what she's fighting for? And I just made it plain. I was like, you love your sisters, right? With his mom. They're not for me. But he was like, well, yeah, I love Madison. And yeah, and I was like, do you feel like, I know you're her brother, but I said, do you feel like anyone should tell her what she should do with herself? And she was like, what do you mean? I was like, and I kept it simple, but I said, okay, you don't like how I give your haircut a certain way. I messed it up one day. I said, so I'm going to fix it. I'm listening to you. I'm never going to cut it that way again. How would you like it if somebody who doesn't know your sister tells her what to do with her hair, which goes into the Crown Act, but don't get me started on that. And he was like, that's not right. He's 12. Mm-hmm. Kids know right from wrong. It's innate. So making it plain. Our children, what am I going to say? Heaven forbid, if I live another 50 years and I've got grandkids that are going to come to me and ask me, what side were you on back then? As I'm reading this, when there were black folks who were out there cooning for orange, and forgive my language, but who trying to say that, oh, the black, the coming after black men to get. I was like, I feel part of that is false narrative, because that's what his campaign said last time. Yeah, we're up 20% with black men, and then when he lost and the numbers came out, the factual number I think was more like 6 or 7%. Mm-hmm. Now they're claiming that they have like 18% black, like. And I'll stop after this, but this goes into something else that I wanted to point out that Gary Chambers pointed out in his. If you watch his, and he did it in like 2 minutes. Roland Martin had everybody like an assembly line on the clock.
2 minutes, y'all. 2 minutes.
So I'll try to take heed of that. But Gary Chambers pointed out something that has always baffled me in our society and in our media. This narrative, the media is like, oh, Orange has got 15% of black men who claim they're going to vote for him. And Gary Chambers pointed out, he reversed. He's like, you know what that's telling me? Fine. If y'all saying that's 15% and that's a big number for them, guess what? That means there's 85%.
There you go.
Who are on the right side of history here on Earth 1 that can read the room and know what's going to happen to us. So let's focus on that. We can't. As my co-teacher, my friend, colleague tells me, when I get so passionate about teaching the kids and some are off track, and my boy, he's like, bruh, you can't save everyone.
No, you can't.
We can't save everyone.
Here's something that Jazzy says. Jazzy says, volunteer for her campaign, share facts, and make sure you're registered. And that was the consensus in the room last night. One of the gentlemen, he says, stop sharing the negative stuff about Kamala, because it's going to come. Don't share it. Don't entertain it. Don't put it in the algorithms. Put all the positive stuff that we can put in about what she's doing, what we're going to do as a community, what we're going to do as an elector. And but on that volunteer note, not only did the women on Sunday raise $1.5 million. They had 28,000 committed volunteers. 28,000 women that said, I am in. I am volunteering. Where do you want me? Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to do? 28,000. Man, that's powerful.
All of us, all of my 3 T's, this is a belief of mine, but each and every one of us has time, talent, or treasure. So
yes,
if you don't have the financial means, do you have time to get a call sheet? Do you have time to knock on a door? If you can't do either of that, financially or time, do you have a talent? Do you have a talent of speaking?
Or your social media, like I said, whatever your platform is, whatever you can do, we all need to be using whatever resources we can offer and give, and time and volunteer, and make this happen, because we can bring this home. We can bring this over the finish line if we all work together. I hear that they are working on also that George Bush, they're trying to get George Bush to and a lot of Republican leaders in on the ticket as well. They're going, as not the ticket, but as in sharing their endorsement of her. So that's the next phase in the next couple of days. This isn't all in. This is a red alert. We know that the Project 2025 is real. We're going to talk about what they've just implemented when it comes to working on the education aspects of it on Thursday. Gwendolyn and I we were talking about that on Thursday, and hopefully also the group in our panel discussion. So we'll be doing that on Thursday because, like we said, Project 2025 is not waiting to 2025. It is being implemented in so many of its parts right now, and has been implemented over the last 5 years. So yeah, so we're gonna be talking about that. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go, Mr. B. It is 10:37, so I'm gonna get ready for class. Thank you, buddy, for sharing your point of view and sharing what you got out of last night. I thought was amazing.
Impactful.
It was beautiful, and I saw so many people sharing the links, putting the links out as everyone. It was just, I mean, that was planned in 12 hours. They planned that last night because of the women. They had to go into, and they were like, wait a minute, we can do this too. And in 12 hours, they were able to put all of that together last night. And I mean, there were leaders from all Black men, leaders, fraternity, local people. Everyone was sharing and connecting, and it was beautiful. So again, we can do this. I think we can do it, and we can do it well. I see in here, I'm gonna let you go, Mr. B.
Right.
Thank you, bro. I see here Omar says, unfortunately, there is still a ton of hate from our community. Many Black men don't like her record in California, but many Black men are buying into the myth of what she did in California. And so it was up to us to educate ourselves in what she did in California, so that way we can share with folks what she did in California and give them the truth. Also, Adrian says, at the risk of sounding like a hater, let's be clear. Donations were flowing, but being held until Biden dropped out. So she got to benefit from the pool of funds waiting on a viable candidates. And also, I mean, that's partly true. However, the funds that were raised, the 1.5 million and the 1.3 million were all grassroots. They were not fundraisers. They were not the fund holders. They were not the big wigs donating. The 81 when it came with the total 80 yesterday from Sunday, it was 81 million, and 67% of that 81 million was from grassroots. So yeah, but there was a lot of pent up demand to share and donate, but 67% of those donations came from the grassroots, and then more yesterday, and then more throughout the day yesterday. So $100 million in 48 hours. That's amazing. Okay, I think it's time for some class. Well, let me just see what are you guys chiming in? Do you have anything to share? What are your points? What are you thinking about? Where do you think we are going from here? How do you feel? Can I ask that question? How do you feel about where we are and what's happened over the last 2 days? 48 hours. The announcement was Sunday. We are now in Tuesday. It's still not even 48 hours. Is it 48 hours? I'll say 48. No, it's not even 48 hours yet until 11:30, until 1:36, 1:46 Eastern time today. It'll be 48 hours. That's amazing. What are you guys feeling? I would like to know, because this is a community. And I would like to know, how are you feeling? How are you feeling? Take some time. We're going to take some time, right? And just put it in the comment box. How are you feeling about the Kamala Harris taking the top of the ticket, the position of the Democrat Party, the energy that is flowing, and how are you feeling about it all? Hey, what's going on? Coach Martin, Golden Nutrition and High Performance is from UK tuning in. Adrian says, I am thankful for a candidate I can vote for. Yeah. Cass says, Blessed Tuesday is a start in the right direction with action 100%. I see here, that's like the 90% of the population. So we should stop as, yeah. Oh, Brian gave us an update. As of this morning, the total overall donation haul is estimated at $250 million plus. I think this country's on fire. And yes, we know the Republicans are upset. They calling her all kinds of names. They're making jokes about her laugh. They're going after her. They're calling her the DEI vice president, and all the other crap that's going to be said. There's going to be a whole lot of trash, but we're ready for the trash. We're ready, because guess what? And what's beautiful? We're not a cult, but we're all getting behind Kamala. Not because she's a cult leader, because she is going to help usher in the next generation of political leaders in this country. It's a beautiful thing. And Biden says he is going to be in his term to the end. And he says not only is he going to be he's going to be in his turn, finishing off his term. He said he's going to be on the campaign trail with Kamala and also on his own for Kamala. I think I think everyone is excited. I'm so excited. I feel so, we were feeling some kind of way on Friday. We were feeling some kind of way as a political party, or for those that are Democrats, but as a nation, we were feeling some kind of way on Friday. And guess what? The darkest night, the darkest moment, the darkest part of the night is just before the dawn. So, and okay, here we go. It's time to fight, says Rashawn. Elise says, it's all hands on deck time. Dr. Titan, Stump is the one that is colored. And Elise says, I am excited by the unity that I am seeing. Kimmy says, we have the momentum so close to the election. We got 100 days, almost 100 days. 100 days. Hey, Lisa's in the building. What's going on, Lisa? There we go. But he says, more of the country is in favor of democracy, not dictatorship. We just got to go get them. We just got to go get them. We just got to share. Tell them what's going on. Jazzy said, I was voting for Biden, Harris, and I'm more than happy to vote for Harris ticket. Let's go. Okay. Let's start talking about some lessons here. It's 10:45. I'm going to try and knock this out in 15 minutes. So let's talk some photography. Let me clear the board. Here we go. Let me clear the board up. There we go. So how to capture beautiful shots of plants and animals. You know, we give our photography tips every Tuesday. So here we are. These are going to be quick and simple. This is going to be an easy lesson. This is an easy lesson. How to capture beautiful shots of plants and animals. Because everybody has well, not everybody, but everybody likes, someone loves a plant and somebody loves an animal. And most of us have one of the two, if not both. Here are some tips for capturing beautiful shots of plants and animals. Here we go. Lighting matters. Pay attention to lighting. Soft, even illumination works well for plant photography. Use the golden hour during sunrise or sunset for warm hues. Color lighting can bring out the green in leaves. Sorry, cooler lighting can bring out the green in leaves. And what that means by cooler, like, we talk about golden hour. Remember, we talked about the golden hour is always that hour before the sun rises. And the hour, sorry, my bad. The hour after the sun rises and the hour before the sun sets. That is the golden hour. And we talked about a couple of weeks ago, everybody looks good in the golden hour. But not only do people look good during the golden hour, plants look good in the golden hour. Dogs, they look good too. Animals look good too in the golden hour. The light is softer, it's nicer, it's warmer. However, if you want to get green, if you're taking pictures of green leaves and like the bugs and stuff on leaves and stuff like that, or like you want to see the grains in your leaf, the leaves that you're photographing, you might want to do it in a cooler color of light. So you could use a lamp or an LED light to put over your plant and photograph it, or early morning sunshine. Take pictures of the plants. You'll get all the little details if you're trying to get those details in a plant. So cooler lighting can bring out the green in the leaves. Next, frame your subject. Frame your plant or animal subject creatively. Experiment with off-center compositions and use light and shadows to enhance framing. Right? We always talked about these. A lot of stuff that we're saying is just a little repeat of what we've talked about in other subjects in our Tip Tuesday. But definitely take that time. Remember what I was saying about left and right, center. Most of our composition, I just had this conversation this weekend with a gentleman that loves photography. You want to put your subject to the left or to the right, somewhat to the left, somewhat to the right, but very rarely in the middle, unless they're a story of importance, or like a portrait. A portrait is done head on. It's in the center. Someone's speaking, and that's really giving a message, like let's say a preacher's in his pulpit, and you want to photograph this gentleman or the lady. You can photograph head on. I mean, if you could in the sanctuary, or anyone important with an important message or a monologue, that's for the center frame. But most of us want to photograph to the left, to the right of the center. And the reason why is because it allows you to bring in composition. So that means now you can bring in the background, a little bit of the background, hint of where the person is, where they're located. You can tell a story if you move people to the left or to the right, and then capture their background and include it in the composition. Next. Focus on clarity. Ensure your subject is sharply focused. Blurring the background can draw attention to the main subject. Try using portrait mode or adjusting your aperture for different effects. Now, for the photographers in the room, we know what that means. Aperture, changing your aperture, right? We know how to bring that aperture down to 1.2, 1.8, 1.4, 2.2, 3. Yeah, you get it, right? However, for those that have smartphones, put your smartphone in portrait mode. Put your camera, your smartphone, into portrait mode. Sometimes you can even put it in food mode on your camera. For all of us that have smartphones, you can go and put it on food mode or portrait mode, and that gives you that milky background. And last but not least, and I'm going to give you some photos, rules of thirds. Divide your frame into thirds, both horizontal and vertically. Position elements along these lines for balanced compositions. And we call, what do we call those intersections? Let's go for it. Let's look at it. Look at that. The points, you see these points, these 4 points, your subject should be on the points. On the points, one of the points, either to the left, to the right, to the up and down. Make sure your subject is on the points. Like you see, this is in the butterfly is on the point. Right? There we go. These are 4 points. That's going to help you with your composition. Then that way, you got your subject here, and then everything else tells the story, whatever that may be. Now, with that in mind, there we go. This one was a natural setup of the rule of thirds. Here we go. The little lizard is to the left. The little goldfish. Is this a goldfish? Is this really a goldfish? Maybe not. But anyway, the fish nonetheless is mostly to the right. And if you could draw those little 4 points, that little square in the middle of the frame, most of the body is on that. Okay, then we have plants out your yard. You want to photograph your garden. You want to photograph the plants in your home. There's a section in your house, wherever. Again, got little leading lines going on in here. The large amount of photos are in the left third. Look at the left third. And everything trails off on the second 2/3. Okay, you're getting the idea. Here's one that's head on, because we want to look into the eyes of the cat. Okay, and so on. And the birds. Beautiful, right? Beautiful. That's it for this week's Tip Tuesday. Remember, practice and experimentation are key. Explore different angles, lenses, and views until you find until you find what draws you in. Happy shooting to everybody. Okay, happy sharing. Oh, man. Okay, there we go. So, guys, there you have it. That was your lesson for the day. That was your Tip Tuesday. Did I get it in? Look, I got it all in before 11 o'clock. Any questions? Here's a little quick Q&A. Do you have any questions about taking these photos of the little animals and plants? You have any questions? Give me a Q&A. Just if you have a question, make sure you put a Q and then the question. Yeah. There you go. Oh, really, Omar? She did. Oh, man. Okay. Omar says, great tips. There you go. The master, my mentor, has said, great tips. He keeps me in line, right? Yes. Rashawn, you are always taking pictures of your dog. Here's some tips. He's going to help you. That's right. Tell the story. Tell your dog's story. Make sure you put him to the left or to the right of the frame. Tell the story. Yeah, Omar says, this is a great way to practice your skills. You know the great thing about coming to you guys every week with a tip on photography on Tip Tuesdays? It gives me homework to kind of like go out and play. It gives me like a new license to play. Like I want to play with my camera a little more, because you don't get to play with your camera. For all the photographers that do this professionally, our play time is lessened. So it's always good to be able to play. Thank you, Rashawn. She says, awesome lesson. Okay, I think we're good. So guys, I'm going to let y'all go. Thank you so much for tuning into Touch Base Daily today. I hope you learned something. I hope you feel encouraged. I hope you're on fire. We are going to win this election. We are not going to let democracy fail. We are not going to let dictatorship rule. We are not going to an autocracy. We're not going there. we as a community, we will do everything we can to support Kamala Harris and whoever the VP will be, her VP. That sounds great, right? Her VP. We are going to join in with the rest of the folks, Black, white, Asian, Indian, it don't matter where you are. We are all, what makes America beautiful is the tapestry of color. We are. All of us coming from so many backgrounds, different ideas, different thoughts. We are not monolithic as a country. We are not monolithic as a people. We are not monolithic as individuals. But all together, we make a great nation. And we can make this nation better. I am more hopeful today than I've been in a long time. I feel the same energy of 2008 brewing. I feel the power of 2008 moving across the country. That's not to say it's going to be easy. Like I said, they're going to throw everything at this woman. But we are here to pray, to encourage, to stand in faith, to stand strong together, to stand in ideology, democracy. We are thriving and striving to become a more perfect union. Okay, on that note, guys, I'm going to let you guys go. Have an amazing, just an announcement. This Saturday is our meetup. We're meeting in Chinatown, so just go to the links above for our RLP Urban Photographers Meetup. Our Urban Photographers Meetup is going to be in Chinatown this Saturday. So if you're in New York, join us. We're going to have a great time in Chinatown, photographing a little street photography. Okay, guys, I'm letting you guys go. Thank you for joining me. And get out there. What? Live life like you mean it and focus on what matters. And I'm out. I'm going to get there. Yeah.